Mike's hot. What's up, guys? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, to Greatest League Talkshow. This is the pre-show. Unfortunately, Josh couldn't make it today, but yeah, me, the best host, Scarra. I know you guys are all here to see me. Thank you guys and welcome to our show.
What up, guys? I'm back.
And Josh is back.
Oh wait, there's an audio sync.
And we ruined it.
Wait, why is there a delay? Is there a delay?
You tell me, dude.
What do you guys keep doing with my?
Every week I do the same thing, and every week it changes. It's like a bad dub. All right, that's fine, man.
All right. Hopefully that fixed it. Let me know if this actually worked.
The official Counter Logic Gaming Twitch channel is in our chat right now. They said it's fixed. Congratulations. It's done.
Okay. All right. So I'm here today. I was up in NorCal yesterday, which is why I wasn't there yesterday.
Yeah, I thought you were because you were at Anime Expo, and then
I wish I was at Anime Expo.
Mark told me you were not.
Yeah. So it turns out my sister was doing a pageant for Miss California.
You had to go.
Yeah, and I went to support my sister. There's still a delay?
I don't know if they're messing with us or not.
I can't tell either.
I think there's still a delay. Someone respectable, someone who I can trust. Tell me if there's a delay.
CLG
visit the CLG booth, and man, dude, who's running that channel? They're at Anime Expo tweeting that.
Okay.
It's fine. All right, I trust my subscriber right there.
All right. Okay, so anyways, so yeah, my sister's doing a pageant thing, and there's all this drama because the girl who won, who's going to represent Miss California, like, I don't think she did a very good job. You know those like so for pageants they do that question thing where like you have to answer a question about some sort of current event.
Yes.
And the only thing I remember from her answer was that she stuttered. And then she was like, and we just need to do it and better. And then walked off stage, and everyone was like, that girl ain't gonna make it, right? Like that's like everyone's first thing. It's on it got broadcast on TV, so I'm sure someone's got a VOD of it somewhere. I don't know if you can find it, but like it was one of those like awkward situations, and you're just like, this girl can't possibly win, And I just wanted to say, my sister did an amazing job. Part of it's on my Instagram story. Plug that in.
Now the chat just wants to see pictures of your sister. Man.
Great.
That's kind of weird.
That's
you're selling out your sister for your own gain.
Anyways, so that's what I was up to this weekend. I wasn't at Anime Expo, which I heard was nuts.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
So Anime Expo last year was also bad.
Yes.
The line for the tickets were over a mile long. I'm sure it was the same thing this year.
It was worse because last year, from what I understand, the line was 2 to 4 hours, and this year is 4 to 6 hours to pick up your badge. And so I'm lucky because I'm going tomorrow and I have an industry badge.
Yeah, industry badge, bitches.
But if I didn't have that, I would be very upset having to wait in line. Very, very upset.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, for me, I don't even really understand. I didn't realize how big Anime Expo was. It is the biggest.
It's become like the biggest weeb event of the year, basically.
Exactly. When people were like, "Oh, I flew in from across the world to come to this event," I was like, "Wait, what?"
Anime Expo blew up. I felt like it wasn't that big, say, 3 years ago.
Exactly. I still remember when I went to it 3 or 4 years ago, where it was like, "Okay, well, this is chill." Now it's like, oh, it's one of the biggest like anime events like in the country. People like actually like mark down time on their calendar to get here, and for them to come in and be like, "Oh, I have to wait in line for 6 hours," I just felt really bad.
Yeah. Also, to kind of go off that thing, Scarra and a bunch of people that you guys probably know are going to be at Anime Expo tomorrow. So come say hi to us. We're probably going to be filming something, so if you guys want to be a part of it.
Yeah, you guys could be on live TV. He'll be helping film, so.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So if you see him, I'll probably be nearby. If you see me, same thing.
The audio still looks like it's fucked, because otherwise people wouldn't be continuing to talk about it, I think.
Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Is it that bad?
I don't know.
People say to refresh the page and the audio delay gets better, but I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so any of you guys who have issues right now, okay, whatever. I'm just going to, no more. I'm not even touching it. Whatever. It's good. It's fine.
It's a 200 ms slight delay. 0.05 seconds.
Anyways... Me, Scarra, I believe Mark, Lily, Pokey, Shikon?
Yes.
Poke.
Yes.
Yuna?
Yes.
Yuna. All of us are going to be there. I knew that confidently.
Yeah. I mean, I was just looking at you. I was like, yes.
Yeah, we have a big group going.
Yeah,
so.
we have like 7 or 8 people going. That's not even including like you guys or like the camera. We have, I think, 6 people going normally, and then we'll have like 2 or 3 people helping out with shooting. So there'll be something where I hope we don't just get stuck in like the middle of the floor being like, oh my god, is that Lily Pichu? I have to go meet her. And then like literally people just run across the floor. They'll be like, Lily, I love your voice. And then we're just there for like a year.
Oh my god. The whole Lily and her voice thing just like still is so funny to me. Anyways.
Wait, is there really a new Fully Cooley trailer?
Is there really?
Because if there is, I'm going to watch it right now. And you guys just have to chill for like 5 minutes while I watch it.
FLCL new...
LCL
new trailer. Oh my god, there's a new trailer. First trailer.
It was 1 hour ago. We can't watch it, dude. We gotta wait till after.
Oh god. Okay.
You're gonna just watch it when we're doing this show, aren't you? Like literally,
I'm literally as soon as Mark comes in, we're just gonna watch it.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm interested actually because there's literally been no talk about this since the original announcement.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. Aside from Anime Expo, that's like the biggest thing so far. What else is a big thing? Oh, the other big topic. I talked about it a little bit yesterday with Mark. People are getting really mad about tier lists. Like, just super mad about tier lists. Freaks AD carry tier list. Rivington's support tier list. And it's like, boom, like, people are just getting so upset about it. The biggest complaint I've seen is that it is offensive when the tier lists are on air from the official casters. So if it was like maybe a post-game analysis show like us, it would be fine. But since Riot does it, them saying that like a player is like the worst in his position is like offensive to the player. Or like it's not something they should do because essentially it's like literally Riot's all about like, you know what, no flame, no game. But like by saying that, I don't know who.
That's a really weird spot because, of course, the NFL and NBA aren't going to make a tier list of players under that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they make like grading reports. But I guess not for individual players.
Yeah, not for individual players. I don't know. I think here's the thing: is tier lists, power rankings, all these things. They are just there to generate discussion.
Absolutely,
and to get people to talk about stuff and. No tier list, power ranking, whatever, is ever going to be perfect. People are always going to
except ours,
because our show's the best.
Oh, NFL does a top 100 players.
Yeah, but that's different, right?
I think that's better because what ends up happening is like how many players are in the NFL? Like per team, probably like 250, maybe 200. And I think like so I'd be like okay, that'd be if LCS did what they do for Worlds, top 20 players to watch.
Yeah,
every year.
No one has any problems with that, you know.
Yeah,
I think once it's just like, because people were talking about how Freak kind of dumpstered on Keith or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if that's too good. I do think though that like I don't know what to think about it, to be quite honest.
Guys, I know that's Scarra's estimation of how many.
There's 50 per team. There's 1,600 players.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Okay, this literally the only thing I know about football is when I used to play NFL Blitz. Like, and by the way, that game
was awesome.
Was awesome, dude. All right, what's my play this time? We're going Hail Mary. Just throw it every time, and I'd make like 1/3 just because that game was cheap. But that's actually the only thing I know about football right now.
In any case, I just think, yeah, I get it why the tier list, especially when you get to the bottom ranked people, that it just comes off offensive. And honestly, I don't know. I understand why.
Maybe Riot should just stop at like top 5 in their position.
Top 5,
you know? And then it
top
could just
3.
be like
top 5 is like not an interesting thing to talk about.
Right. Maybe because we did top 3, right?
Yeah.
For like the Jimmies, and I think that's okay. But and then I guess like going into the bottom 5 segment is like, you're cutting into some dangerous territory where, especially because it's live on air. Hey, dude, you're the 10th place jungler in the league, and I'm just like, yeah, I jungle for Delta Fox. What's up?
Okay, whatever. I think this whole Reddit just gets their panties in a twist about everything. You know?
I think this got pretty overblown.
I think
but the thing is,
so
it's not
overblown.
even like the Reddit. Like actually, the pro players like kind of stepped out and was like, look, this is like really offensive as well.
Yeah. No, I get it. But anyways,
who cares about that? The most important thing, most relevant thing to you guys, we're going back to the number 1 topic we talked about in the pre-show. Anime is coming to Twitch.tv. So, they're doing Enter the Ballroom, I think, next week or the week after, which is actually like I thought like if they're going to get an anime to show for the first time on Twitch.tv, it would be like kind of like a small one. Like, they wouldn't start with like My Hero Academia. It'd be like some like kind of bad one. But I actually read this one back when I used to read a lot of manga, and that's how I explained it. It's the best ballroom dancing manga that's ever been printed. But I think that that competition is only within like 2 or 3, maybe even just 1. It's one of the better. I guess I would label it sports, more mature sports manga I've read. Period. It's pretty good. It's really good.
I just love anytime we mention anime. Half the chat gets in, like, there's just an all-out war between weebs and non-weebs. I think it's hilarious every single time.
So it's literally, like, the only ballroom dancing manga ever printed. It's good. And so, like...
Of course, ballroom dancing? What?
Oh, I'm just saying, okay, whatever... Even if it didn't have anything to do with that, I just think it's a good one, okay?
Sports anime about speed typing. It's just like, you take any sort of small niche competitive thing. I don't know.
But they're doing this on Twitch TV a week before it premieres in Japan.
You know, by the way, this is how TV becomes TV again, through Twitch, right? So, as a lot of you guys know, regular TV broadcasts, the numbers are dropping really, really fast. People are preferring to subscribe to Netflix rather than have a cable network. And this is the start of stuff like Netflix and Twitch and stuff becoming the new network. Because people like Crunchyroll, who have deals with all these shows or whatever, are going to start broadcasting them onto Twitch, a live thing. And then people are going to tune in at that specific time to watch that show. And then we're going to go into a full circle, and we're just going to go onto Twitch to watch the shows that you want to watch.
You know what I think? It's actually really cool. They started doing this with Power Rangers when they did the last marathon. You can actually restream any of the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
You just can't save the VOD, or else, or you can, but it's highly likely you're going to DMC it.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a pretty good middle ground. So like, once this comes out, like, I thought it'd be funny to like watch like anime with my viewers sometimes, and like I can just watch this. I'd be like, I think that'd be cool. Like a bonding thing, you know?
Yeah.
Me and my bros out watching ballroom.
No,
dancing.
so that's the thing though, is as chat's saying right now, I think the true thing that TV is missing, that online component has, is
the Twitch
chat. Just the chat. And I think that's actually huge. So I was part of a film session with Disney XD. They're doing this new show called Polaris Primetime.
I'm sorry.
I know. Disney
that
XD.
network, dude.
Yeah, you can't ever take
Good
XD
job,
seriously.
Disney. Just impeccable work.
Yeah. And their whole thing is that they want to create a TV show that emulates what a live stream is like.
Really?
Kind of. That's like the tagline that they've used, and I don't think that it necessarily, from what I've seen that was filmed, it doesn't really align that well with it. But I think one thing that they're going to realize real quick is people like being able to spam shit in chat, and that's part of like the fun of watching like big streams.
Absolutely, dude. literally, like, one of the funniest things for me is whenever a new player plays in the LCS, I gotta see how, like, Twitch, like, memes
exactly.
Like, Mike Young. Mike Young is the best example. Just came in, and it's literally just, like, they just use Mike, and then they just have
any kind of
thing in the parentheses in the middle, Young. Yeah. Mike the Kid Young. Yeah. Mike Prodigy Young. It's just, like, people go crazy. And with Cody's son, his first announcement.
Oh, Cody Gunn.
Yeah, Cody Dunn. They're just so smart. Like,
it's so funny. It's you just like get enough people to start brainstorming random shit to talk about something. You'll get some gems.
Yeah, you throw stuff on the wall, and like the 1 in 1,000 is gonna stick, and it's gonna be good.
All right, now we gotta do one for Scarra. William Scarra Lee. We gotta think of something. Come on, chat. You gotta think of something funny, really quick.
It's just the emote where it's just like. Where like anytime people are around Baron, it'll just be like people just like spam the emote. It'd be it'll be like, wow, this reminds me of something, and then that's it. My time to dine, or essentially that.
They just spam Mingli.
Yeah, literally when like I was off the desk, or when I was on the desk with Mark, people would just spam that all the time. But like I just think it's really funny, like. Honestly, people are just so funny.
I think Twitch chat is hilarious. I remember when Twitch first came out, and I was like, "Oh man, Twitch chat's actually cancer." Blah blah. They say all these like really terrible things or whatever. But the more and more I look at Twitch chat, it's just so funny.
You just can't take it too seriously. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And like for me, when I stream, I try to get people to like mod it to where it's like almost as serious as possible with like a little bit of cutting around, but like. The unmoderated streams, you're looking at like Cutie Pie stream, where literally Cutie's like, mod, start spamming. Literally, his bot spams ASCI things, like literally up and down his chat, just so that he doesn't have to interact with his chat at all. It's just so fun. Sometimes you just be like, wow, dude, you just see the gem. It's perfect.
See, like when someone writes feed and troll, we love you, Josh. You know, I know that they're lying because nobody. Anyways, so. Yeah, I think Twitch chat's like a really essential component to just like video programming in general. I think it's the future. I think stuff like Twitch plays, you know, like Pokemon and that sort of thing is like. I think Twitch plays Pokemon is actually one of the most genius things I've ever seen. Like Twitch chat has actually changed the face of modern day interaction, and I think that's nuts.
Did you see the most recent one with like Twitch plays something?
No.
It wasn't like a game. It's Twitch plays the stock market. Where literally
Twitch plays the stock market?
Yeah, where literally like you buy and sell actual shares of stock, and then like the guy like says how much you're up or down for the day.
Wait, did they just like lose all their money?
No. Apparently like some of the days they go out like positive. It's actually really good. And I'm just like, how is this possible?
How do You know, the more I learn about the American like finance system, like with stocks and mutual funds and all these things, I just realize that it's like free money, honestly.
Oh, it's called StockStream. It's up 2,500 right now. 2,500. That's more than some people make in a month.
So you're telling me that there are people out there investing money into stocks, you know, their own money, and losing more money than just random spam from Twitch chat. Like, that blows my mind. That there are people out there that are so bad at doing stocks that they're actually worse than someone just going ahead and being random about it.
What can I say? You know, the collective mind is greater than the individual. That's what Twitch chat is.
That's just not true. That's actually not
true.
One
dude apparently put in $50,000. Apparently you can donate your own money. That's so much money.
Oh my god.
Why would you ever put in that much money?
That's crazy.
Maybe that guy's just rich as balls. Maybe that guy's just like, he's got too much money to spend.
My god.
It's not random, it's consensus. So it's the hive mentality.
Hive mentality? I guess maybe that could... Man, that still seems...
Dude, it's fine, dude. I know the secret to making money, Josh. This
Ethereum.
That's what I was gonna say.
I knew it.
Literally, like, there's been like this like craze about cryptocurrency recently, and people are just like, dude, Scar, you know what you gotta do?
It just crashed. Like,
it crashed like a week ago. They're just like, you know what you gotta do? You gotta dabble into Ethereum. And when I first heard it, I'm like, that's the new drug on the street. That's what it's called. What's it do? And they're like, no. It's better. It's like it'll make you money. Just throw everything in it. I'm like, okay. And like when it went up one night, literally, you just following Twitter, everyone was just like, in esports was just like, I love Ethereum. And I'm just like, wait, I'm missing out, dude. I feel like I'm a little bit out of like the hip stuff.
Oh god, Ethereum. So, by the way, guys, Ethereum's. I feel like that ship might have already passed. The people who made a ton of money on it was the people who got into it really early and bought Ethereum for like one Ethereum for like $30.
Yeah.
By the way, Ethereum right now, when it peaked, was almost $400, and now it's back down to like 310 or something. like that.
Yeah, and still that's super big. Like I think the people around esports got in when it was at between 80 to 150.
Yeah.
So even now, though, people are just like, "Oh my god, I'm making so much money." Yeah. I could have been a bajillionaire by now if I got in early.
I know, same. So I had a friend who was an early adopter. He bought Ethereum at $30 each.
Oh.
And so he made like tens of thousands of dollars off of Ethereum. And me and Mark were literally talking to Sherman as he was about to buy into Ethereum. And me and Mark were just too not sober to remember to actually invest into Ethereum. So I could have been an early adopter, made a bunch of money, but now...
Oh, Sherman was the one who did it?
Yeah.
That guy's rich, so rich now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, wait, Mark doesn't have the keys.
Wait, did he text me?
Wait, how did he get up?
Wait, how did he get up here?
How do you think? You guys have noodles?
Wait, you paid someone to come up here?
Wow.
What? Someone left and I walked up.
Wait, so you know how weird it is for me to go to the studio, get keys from you, finally get in, and Josh is literally sitting right there playing Smash, and I look and I'm like, hey Josh, why did I need to...
You never told me when he was coming back.
I didn't know when I was coming back either, to be honest. We're just talking
about
Ethereum.
everything. We're actually talking about Ethereum.
Oh yeah.
We went from the stock market Xell's Twitch stream to Ethereum because we're talking about how to make quick cash.
Let me give you guys some financial advice. Investing into Ethereum is
Very volatile.
very, very risky. Let's put it that way. But you guys should put money in.
My financial advice is you should invest actually into me. My donation link is down below in my profile. You know how they say the best investments
0% return.
You know how they say the best investment is into yourself? I got a better investment. It's actually straight here. You watch me every day. Why not just... I'm better than yourself. I'm me.
This is the biggest sellout thing ever. Oh, you know what we should have talked about, actually? The whole, like, fight between Twitch partners and Twitch affiliates.
Oh my... Do I really have to talk about that?
I think it's actually so funny.
The only thing I will say is that I think the requirements to get affiliate are a little bit low.
Yeah.
Because
Are you kidding me? They're way too low.
Essentially, affiliate... If you want to be an affiliate, you essentially need to have one condition.
You turn your stream on.
You have a pulse.
Yeah.
You need to have your stream on at
pulse.
some point. You can't.
Yes.
You need to have turned your stream on, basically.
Yeah. Sometimes.
The fact that me and Mark both are affiliates, even though
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Oh really?
I probably would get it.
I'm an affiliate, and I stream twice a week on something that is like hardly even legal. I restream anime on my stream, and like that's like not even legal. Now I have a sub button, sick, and then partners are all upset over it. Oh god.
I just think that's the actual requirements are a little bit low, but I don't care about people getting sub buttons. The only people who should care about these things are the sub and mo artists, because they're just like, woo, let's go.
So why do you think requirements are low? Like they can't handle that much like support that they need to get out as a company, or
no?
what?
I just think that it's just like good for them to have more money.
Well, obviously
in.
Twitch is happy because they're like, fuck it, now we can take 50% of everyone's money.
That's like what they're doing. I think it just looks a little bit bad because I know people who've worked really hard to get partner. People have got rejected like year after year after year,
right.
And finally they're just like, I finally made partner, and right as they make partner, Twitch is like, yo, dog, your dog wants to stream here. You can have sub.
So, like, I understand why you get a little salty at that, but, like, you can't give an actual reason why it's bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
besides that, it feels bad.
Besides the fact that, like, it feels like because people earned it a lot easier, it's worth less. You know, exclusivity does matter in some way, shape, or form. It's something that people sell.
Sure, but it also doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well,
think about it this way. You know who else couldn't vote for a while?
Where are we going?
Where are we going with this?
I don't know.
Wait, what the fuck,
Talking about privileges that people had, and then you get more inclusive with it, and some people get really salty about it.
Yeah,
but it just like doesn't actually matter when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, like the people who were like, man, I liked having Twitch partner in my Twitter bio because that made me seem more important. Like those people didn't fucking matter anyway.
Yeah, I personally have no problem with having like a lot of affiliates out there. Josh, oh my god.
What? I'm just
The
saying.
only thing
I'm just saying that the metaphor applies here. That like there's a certain subgroup that wasn't able to do something, and suddenly you give it to it, and some people get salty about it.
And people wonder why we don't get sponsorships. It's because of the pre-show. Josh.
Wait, what the?
Actually,
fuck?
we're sponsored by Coke right now. Coke just endorsed that message.
Yes, Coca-Cola is actually. Wait, I'm saying that everyone can vote. That's a great thing.
And Google as well. They just sent me this
Actually,
Nexus.
Twitch too. They are not only hosting this show for us, in some sense, allowing us to have a platform to stream it on, but I have a hoodie that I bought from them. So we're basically, Twitch just said the same thing. They're so pro equal rights, they just compared themselves giving affiliate status to abolishing slavery.
Yeah. Please, let's start the show. Welcome to Greatest League Talk Show, where we talk about League of Legends professional game analysis with me, Scarra, and your other lovely co-host, MarkZ, analyst on the LCS desk, me, ex-analyst, ex-coach, ex-pro player, ex-everything.
No longer does anything with his life.
I'm just...
I like how instead of changing the scene to what it's supposed to be, Josh just goes to the fucking bathroom.
Actually, you know what he's doing? One of the big animes just released a trailer an hour ago, so he's like, I need to go watch it. I'm not even kidding.
I know. I see everyone in chat spamming FLCL.
Yeah, no. Wait, you watched that before, right? Yeah. They just came out with the trailer an hour ago, so people are like hyped. I don't know if it's good. I don't know what to expect. I got all the topics written.
Oh shit, we ready to go. Arrows in the
good,
wrong place.
dude. Oh, okay.
I mean, pretty good overall though. I mean, I'm not gonna complain.
All right.
Let me get my notes out.
Okay, so how much are we spending on the last series?
Woo!
I guess we'll talk about it when we get there. But
yeah, I mean, I actually didn't hate the last.
I didn't hate too many of the games today at all. I think
there's only one series I hated.
Well, definitely wasn't
Well, I wouldn't say I hated it. I just don't feel like there's a need to talk about it.
the Fox vs. FlyQuest.
CLG versus TL.
Oh, right, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I like those types of games because it was quick.
Right, so I'm not saying I disliked it. I just don't see any value really in talking about it.
Oh, because they're Team Liquid.
Because it's the number 1 team beat the number 10 team. Those guys, after today, are definitively the 1 in 10 team.
Oh, are they really?
CLG sole possession of first, Team Liquid sole possession of 10th.
Wow, that's impressive.
Anyways, so first one up on this docket is P1 versus IMT. This is a fun fucking series.
Yeah, I thought...
Shift left a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Or do we need to pull the mic?
Oh.
The mic looks like it's dead center. No, the mic's left a little bit.
Okay, I shifted left. We can just pull the mic a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, I actually thought this series was going to be such an Immortals stomp after the first game. I was just like,
Yeah.
Immortals macro game looks so clean. They're controlling bot side jungle so well. This game is just going to be a stomp. Like, honestly, the other team can't even compare. I can't believe we're sending these guys to Rift Rivals kind of stuff.
Right, and then games 2 and 3 happen, and it's the full-on Mike Young show.
Yeah, actually, he just hard carried. And so it's a 3-game series. P1 closes out 2-1, really close series where the rookie of the split / only possible rookie of the split.
So what's funny is this is going to be like the least valued rookie of the split ever.
But he's
good. But one of the most justified ones.
Yeah, he literally, it's like, I think he came in like extremely well, did exactly what P1 needs.
It's the exact same story as in Norway last year. Where, like, the team's dead in the water, this rookie jungler comes in and hard carries.
Yeah, just smashes early games nonstop. And the thing about him is he doesn't fall off during the mid-late. He's actually an intelligent jungler for the most part, which is really, really surprising. All right, let's get into the series. First game, I just thought that Immortals did a great job at controlling. Usually what happens is when you talk about controlling areas, the jungle and the support walk in and control an area. The jungle and the support walked in, controlled bot side, red side.
Yeah.
The entire game, and they got like 4 or 5 picks in the area the first 10 minutes, first 12 minutes.
So, Xell in lane is a problem. Like, He plays ganks out in like really bad ways. Both game 1 and game 2, he died early on in really
Oh, when he
bad
got double hit with the
Bard Q in game 2. Game 1, he lost his flashes, Tahm Kench. Arrow gets hit with a CC. I forget if it was a hook or something, because there's a thresh. I think it's a hook. And instead of letting like Arrow flash out and maybe save himself, he runs in his Tahm Kench with no flash, eats him, and then gets like CC'd up even more, spits him out. Arrow still has to flash, and then he dies. And it's like, you might have been able to get out for no kills, and then you guaranteed giving 1 kill and still losing some. So it was like, what are you doing?
I just think almost. Oh my! I don't know I don't know what to say about P1 in lane for bot lane. I think their bot lane laning stats. You told me they're like the worst.
Yeah.
Actually, you look at their bot lane stats, and I expect them to be behind every game.
Yeah.
And that's really bad. Actually, like they're lucky that they're. This is with a jungler that's creating a lot of early pressure. It's not like MarkZ like farming passive style new jungle player.
Yeah.
He's actually playing Italy, least in every game, creates a ton of pressure pre 10 minutes.
This game was not his best game. It was just kind of average for MikeYoung. But like everything that Immortals was trying was working because his laners were not playing things out super well. So it felt kind of bad where it's like, oh, MikeYoung's not having a great game, but it was also like the rest of P1's just getting smashed.
I just thought Immortals played really well. Like
yeah.
I didn't think so much, oh, MikeYoung played like garbage. It was just like, well, it's very obvious who the better team is in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, not only are they getting all these kills, like you said, for Immortals, they have monster CS leads in mid and bot lane. They're grabbing all the turrets, so like even though the kills, I think, end up relatively close because MikeYoung answered once or twice. I think they were down a couple kills,
Yeah,
but the gold lead was
like
big.
4 kills, but then you look at the bot lane CS difference, Arrow's down 50 CS, mid lane's down 30.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wait, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then there's like a bunch of random picks, and eventually Immortals get a 4-0 22 minutes in, and Pobelter has like a sick ult.
Yeah, Pobelter has like an amazing sequence of events where everyone chases him. He one hits Arrow, he has Syndra when he's ahead, just does that the AD carries. Then he loops around the
like
backside.
200 health.
Hits a 3-man stun when the fight's still going on. They're trying to run away. Re-engages the fight, dies for it, but picks up 3 kills for his team, and they get Baron. He's the only death of the fight. So it's actually a 4-for-1, and he's the one death. And he wins the game right there. Actually played super well.
And in that 3-man stun, it wasn't just like, oh, I just used my ult and I pressed E and stunned everyone. It was like he ulted Arrow, wrapped back around all the way to the other side of the fight. All the balls are down. He does a QW and hits a 3-man stun with 2 balls. It was sick.
Yeah, it was really good. Pobelter played that fight out super well. They won the game. First game's over. Immortals just so good.
Smash it.
Yes, and then the second game starts, and
it looks like repeat.
Yeah,
Especially just dies in a horrible gank.
Like what happens is they do the very hard bot lane, hard leashes bot side, and if you're the jungler, you can clear. Essentially, your bot 3 camps be level 3 when the enemy bot laner is level 1, and because the bot lane leashes, the enemy team gets the shove advantage. So they shove in, and so they're shoving while your jungler is level 3, red buff, and they're level 1. Easy gank on bot lane. Usually converts into sums or a kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's dumb, and I think Riot really should do something about this. I don't think you should ever have level 3 jungler ganking a level 1 lane.
Yeah, they nerfed this when it was top lane, when it was possible for top lane. I also think in general, like, you know how they try to remove leashing? For the most part, like, I don't know if you should be able to give that big of a leash, where you're leashing, like, an entire camp for your buff. The thing is, I don't really know how Riot can really enforce that.
I mean, that's the thing, is they've been trying to kill leashing for 5 years. You can't kill leashing, but you could do some stuff with like where the XP is located in the camps, because like right now the way it works is you only need to kill the big Krug, I think, to get 3 with that clear.
I think you need to kill the big Krug and the small Krug so it resets the camp and you just run.
Yeah, and you also get only the small raptors and you leave the big raptor up. So like you can maybe, and I don't know for sure, you'd have to test it, but like maybe you can reassign where the XP is in the camps so that you need to kill the big raptor and the little raptors aren't worth as much or something.
Regardless though, it's a pretty effective route. They got a really early lead, and at this point you're just like, well, as long as the top side of the map does not feed 1 billion kills in the next 8 minutes, this game's over.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening?
MikeYoung happens.
So here's my question. Do you think this is Mike playing well or Flame playing poorly?
A little bit of both, because with how ahead your team is, I don't think the what was it? Was it Renekton?
It was Renekton versus Gragas.
Yeah, so I don't think the Gragas needs to get smashed that hard. And I know in Italy, Renekton's like super annoying and lots of dives happen, but like there's a lot of plays. Like you can rotate your bot lane around the map because they're smashing bot lane. Like you can do different things to get out of there. But Mike just hard camps top and makes Gragas like die 3 times before 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, and I don't think that should necessarily have happened. Like I respect Mike for finding the opening to be able to put his team back into the game.
Yeah.
It was good of him to see it, but I think that Flame and Immortals in general should have found a way to not make that happen. Or I actually just think Flame ended up misplaying the lane quite a bit.
Yeah. Definitely mostly on Flame, and then maybe the team could have covered him better by doing some lane swaps. But either way, they kind of are just content to like sit in lane, and Mike Young just runs around the map murdering people because it goes from top, and then eventually finds to look mid, and then they start winning skirmishes everywhere.
And the thing is, it's like what happens when you have a really strong bot side is the most dangerous time of the game is when you swap your strong bot side into their strong top side. Like you switch your strong lane into their strong lane. And what happens usually is like if a fight breaks out, it's really close because you're fighting very strong enemies for the most part, and they fought top river. Both strong sides fought top river, and it just so happened that like P1 came out ahead, multiple times. I think 2 times, and that was enough to where their bot lane lead didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, and so at this point, P1 is like in pretty large control of the game, and then there's like a backbreaking fight mid where like Immortals is pushing up mid lane. And then P1 collapse, and they just kind of like smash that fight super hard with like the lead now that P1 has. I think they got like a 4-kill Baron or something. Yeah, it was 4 kills in Baron.
Yeah, and even with this being said, you could still tell P1's not like a great team because they struggle to close out a lot of games that you feel like, oh, you know, this is pretty free for you guys, right? But honestly, you're happy because where they were like a couple weeks ago to like now, it's a large improvement.
Well, they went from 0-6, I think they were 0-5
to splitting series
to 3-3 or something. So now they're at 3-7, 3 that math doesn't work out. 3-8 doesn't work out either. Whatever the fuck, dude. All right, they're 500 with Mike Young, and they went 2-0 this weekend, which is pretty good given the fact that they're up against some quality opponents.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's good.
Game 3.
I just thought this one was really weird by Smithy. They did a 4-minute 2v2 scrap
at the Raptors.
At the Raptor Kip, and then the Nidalee is a jungler you cannot give leads to. So like what happens is Nidalee it's a flashing the Rek'Sai Umbrella. Pubwatcher doesn't fully commit the 2v2. It's like kind of miscommunicated, and Nidalee walks away with a kill. And when you give Nidalee a kill in any jungle matchup, the champion has a chance to pop off. And what happens is actually is this the Corki game from Ryu?
Yeah.
All right, Ryu just like got a lead with the help of Nidalee.
Mike Young, yeah.
And then just took off. Actually, just so much pressure on this map. He takes the tier 1 turret, constantly pressures tier 1, even when
they get a kill underneath the tier 1 turret just by like poking away.
Yeah, and even when Smithy makes a bot lane play with their mid lane to 4-man dive bot lane, they still can't get first turret because the mid turret is at 10% health, and then he gets tier 2 within the span of 3 minutes.
Yeah, so like Ryu as a player is someone who gets a lot of criticism because he's really inconsistent and he's like a playmaker. And when they had the bad jungler and the bad bot lane, he like was playing bad as well, and he's not a strong laner necessarily. He's about making plays, but like Mike Young gives him the tools this game to be like, go run with the game, and then Ryu just kind of takes it over after like the assistance from Mike Young.
And even with P1 being, I would say, in a pretty dominant position, they fumble around the Baron area. Looks terrible. It's like a 4-for-1 or I think 3 people die.
It's a 3-for-1. No, it's a 3-for-0.
Almost, yeah.
It's a 3-for-0 actually.
And then what ends up happening is Mike Young, I don't know where this guy came from. Jesus Christ comes in and like takes over his body and just like pushes them out of the Baron pit.
And like Smithy admittedly does something pretty dumb going over the wall by himself.
Yeah.
And he just gets fucked up by Nidalee really hard.
Like what happens is like if you're the jungler in that position, your team goes, not you, unless you have the hard CC.
And like the problem is it's after it's like they don't have many good ways over the wall. Like Ashe, Talia, Morgana, Renekton. No one can get over that wall easy, and they didn't want to risk it, so they were just like, all right, Smithy, get over there and fuck him up and like CC him near the wall, and then we'll kill him. But the problem was Nidalee just, Mike Young just kills
hit them.
Yeah, and then they're all stuck in the pit. They don't have a smite. They're like, what do we do? They're not burning Baron down because there's a jungler with smite over the wall. They're trying to have Mike Young get close. Mike spears the Morgana. He drops as well. and then he almost kills Renekton after they all bail out of the pit, but not quite able to do
Yeah,
so.
it was a series where it was like, oh my god, he saved the game for P1. Eventually, P1 finds a situation where Smithy's low after a skirmish, and Ryu does a Froggen, which is the Valk over the Golem pit to kill Rek'Sai. That's what I'm going to call it now.
The Froggen.
Yeah, the Froggen. He just like...
Not have a bad Talia? That's not the Froggen?
Wait, dude, come on.
What happened?
That's brutal. All right, anyway, so he does that, gets a pick. They find another pick because at this point, Corki, I think, just 2-hits everyone.
Yeah.
And then they get 2 Furrow, get Baron, and then the game's over.
Yeah, it ends so fast, this game. It's actually kind of crazy, given the fact that like Immortals felt like they were scrapping their way back into it. And what's funny is, before this series started, Zig, in one of the player interviews, was like, oh yeah, I think Immortals is like only an okay team, and they're getting really lucky. And then they go 0-2 this week, and P1 beats them, so it's kind of like, oh shit, all right. Maybe he's right.
Yeah. I saw glimpses of hope. I still think Cody and Ole are playing great. Like, actually, almost all the games you're watching their bot lane, you're just like, wow, they're doing really well. It just so happens it's like the game just kind of collapses. If Smithy doesn't give them the great lead that they're used to, just random stuff happens where they just die. Like, Mike Young just takes over the game. It's not what I expected to see this series, but I mean, congrats to P1. They're looking a lot better.
They feel like they can maybe win any series if Mike Young goes off hard enough, because Arrow and Rio are still decent carries. Like, this game was one where, like, yes, Mike Young got them the lead and then kind of saved them when they fucked up, but Arrow also Rio made a lot of good plays too.
It reminds me of like old school Acadian in that like he would get them leads. But I think that generally Mike Young tends to play the mid-late game better. Like, he doesn't tend to like suicide as much and tends to be in the right positions as well. Like, I actually think he's pretty intelligent player, surprisingly, coming straight from solo queue. Like, a lot smarter than I originally thought.
Yeah, because when he first came in, he was just being really scrappy in the early game, and you're like, oh, we've seen this before, a good mechanical jungler.
Yeah, but like for the most part, like, he's in the right side at the right time, and he pressures correctly, which is something that's like really hard to do as a jungler.
All right, so let's move on to the second series of the day.
Fly vs Fox, which
Fly vs Echo Fox.
Another 3-game series that
was relatively fun.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Honestly, this is a series where just going right now and say it, Turtle played really, really well.
Turtle's playing. He had a good last series.
And he had great like, even the game he lost, his Jhin was like 8-1, and he was like walking up and just like popping people. But yeah, so I think that for the most part, this is a 3-game series where FlyQuest sneaks out the 2-1
off the back of some bad Echo Fox play, but at this point, that's expected.
Exactly. I think I read a comment where it's like, at this point, you expect Echo Fox to fail in the end game, and I kind of agree. I think their late game is probably the worst in the league, or tied with one of the worst in the league.
I think we need to take a timeout here. Chat's popping off too hard about I got rejected by Shocks, apparently.
It's okay. Medios.
Yeah, I already have Medios in my back pocket. I'm taking him to prom, potentially. But apparently the urinal won out after my presidential pick, because they put me in like the general, like, you know, politician outfit where you have a red tie with a white shirt and a blue jacket. They gave me like this little flower that was all Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah, so I posted a picture of it. And I said, "Would you vote for me?" Apparently she wouldn't. But I don't give a fuck. She's not even from America. She can't vote. She can't even vote. She doesn't even go here. Typical European, like in their bidets and urinals and shit. Come on. It took forever to get that tweet up, dude. You can just go straight to the internet now. You don't need to clip everything. We turned on that feature.
Are we good?
Yeah,
are we ready to talk about FlyQuest vs Fox?
I'm so mad.
You can placate your anger with talking about this series.
Yeah, because I actually fucking hate talking about Echo Fox. Well, I love how much I hate talking about Echo Fox.
The funniest thing was watching this series, and I think it was the first game.
Yeah,
they're pushing up, and they just randomly do a Baron without mid priority. And I could not help but think to myself, what did Mark say last time? You gotta get mid priority before you do Baron. And what happened? Oh, it was the second game. Turtle just like, because Turtle was on Jhin, and he just like takes the tier 2 mid tower. And I was just like, what did Mark say, guys? Come on. Like,
Are you sure that wasn't game one?
Dude, they do this a lot. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to like when you're like, oh, that time that they fucked up the Baron play horribly. You're like,
oh, game one.
I have 5 notes on that. Like, which note are we talking about?
6 times a week.
Wait, so did Echo Fox win game 1 or game 2?
They lost the game with Jin. So actually, that was.
Yeah, that was game 1.
Oh, it was game 1. You're right. Okay, yeah, it was game 1. Sorry. So it was game 1, and then they ended up winning the next 2 games.
Wait, what? Echo Fox lost this series.
No, FlyQuest ended up.
Oh yeah. So they lose the first game.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they win the next 2 games. So it was a Jin game. So it was a game 1 where they do this weird thing where they don't control mid priority. It's not weird. It's bad. They do this bad thing where they don't control mid priority when they're doing Baron, and then you see why it's a problem when literally the AD carry just walks up and takes your tower, which, by the way, they failed to contest for 10 minutes straight against your team.
Yeah.
And you just give it away for free because you don't know how to play out.
And during this game, it wasn't just the mid lane. Like, there was a bot lane wave that pushed all the way into the inner turret, took that one, and almost took the inhib turret by itself as a minion wave that just, like, Echo Fox never responds to. And, like, this whole game is, like, such a mess anyways. It goes super... Anyways, going back to the beginning of the game, Acadian... like gets a good first blood, they gate roam mid, and they get a kill.
I actually think like this is what reminds me of like when I think about successful FlyQuest stuff, because a lot of FlyQuest's early successes last split came from their bot lane randomly roaming mid.
Yeah,
but like it was like a roam that was like intelligent, or an intelligent roam mid to find a certain timing.
Yeah.
And what happens this game? Jin just roams mid at 6 and just snipes out MarkZ. And I was like, or is it MarkZ? I was like, it's a great roam.
The other problem, and the reason it worked, was because they got the first blood, and you know Froggen's like great, and then he doesn't recall right away.
Yeah, he sticks around.
He sticks around. And then Corki comes back to lane, and then Corki stops him from recalling by just pelting him, and then he stays in lane. Froggen doesn't just like eat the fact that like, okay, he's fucking with me, I need to walk back farther. He stays in lane with just a Doran's ring. He makes Gate and I'm guessing he makes, I don't know why they decided to do this, but both Acadian and Gate like path up to his lane, probably like to help him out or something. And then eventually that's when the Jin comes up and they just snipe him under turret because he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but I still think it looks like that are really, really good from the bot lane, and not a lot of teams end up doing that. FlyQuest had a little bit of this last split, and I like it. I like to see it come back, and just in general, this is like a good target point to start where you're just like, well, Turtle played really well this series. Like,
super well. So anyways, what happens and why Echo Fox eventually gets the lead is FlyQuest try and make a dive happen in the bot lane. Moon misses his Zac E, ends up under turret, misses, or I think he misses it because they flash, but then he flash forwards and then misses his Let's Bounce.
Yes.
So then they have nothing up, and Echo Fox kind of turns it and gets a 3-for-1 or a 3-for-0 down the bot lane, and they take turret as well.
It's 3-for-1 in the Baron swing, which is really big. And with all this in mind, I'm just thinking to myself, oh, okay, so Echo Fox has this. And then this is probably the most back and forth game that we've seen this split. So
I mean,
probably,
there's been a lot of Echo Fox games.
From like the 30-minute point to the end of the game.
Yeah, I just have insanity as my note.
It's actually just straight team fights, like nonstop, in-your-face team fights where people are going 2-for-2, 3-for-2, like 2-for-3, all over the place. One team wins, gets Baron. With Baron, loses the next team fight, and it's just actually insane.
And this is the perfect game to point out why stats in League of Legends fucking suck. Because fucking Froggen ends this game 8-3-17. Basically an 8 KDA, right? And he has 75,000 damage done in, I think it was like a 45, 50-minute game. Great DPM numbers. Great KDA. Except he played like horse shit. He fucked up around the mid lane with his recall timings and cost his team some of the early game. He got caught out a couple times and died. And the only reason
with a Kench on his team.
With a Kench on his team. And the only reason he didn't die more was because of that Kench. And then like they both just melted frontline. And the other team has Zac, Kled, Braum with Gargoyle Stoneplate. And you're just Malzahar ulting because you do, you know, percent health damage with a Leandry's on. So you're just doing a shitload of damage over the course of the game, but not playing well in the slightest.
And the best thing is they gave out the stat, and like they didn't show like Turtle stats the next game, I don't think. But they just talked about it, and then Turtle had like very similar DPM numbers playing Jin. And I was like, yeah, because Turtle literally like beat the crap out of all the front line. Like, this game was really, really, it essentially boiled down to the fact that like Echo Fox just actually did too much damage to front line. So when both teams were playing front to back, actually what ends up happening in the straight team fight comp, and I didn't even realize it until I saw it, it happened was that Echo Fox just wins at equal item levels.
Yeah.
So what the enemy team needs to do is poke them down with Jin Corki before the fight starts, enough to where like they can win the fight. But I can't even blame them because with an 8-1 Jin, I would assume too that we could burn frontline faster.
Yeah, but Jin is one of the worst for burning frontline, and when you're reaching this super late game status, Keith actually had a decent game. He was not ever like really killed early in a fight, and then he had like one fight with 10k damage. He was doing
great, and the fact that it's just Ashe ᵐᵉᵐᵉ like could sustain damage monsters.
Yeah, so it's basically both teams do this, and Echo Fox has a little bit better backline for killing frontline. And then there's this one team fight at the very end of the game that Echo Fox wins because they're super, super clumped up, and ᵐᵉᵐᵉ and Ashe just kind of AoE everyone.
Yeah.
And then the game ends.
Yep. But yeah, just insanity, bunch of team fights. If you really like team fight action, watch this first game. It's very back and forth.
If you really hate good League of Legends, though, don't watch this game. If you should watch it then, if you hate good League of Legends.
Wait
My
a
brain's
sec.
fried just talking about this game.
All right, let's go on to game 2. Because that's definitely the longest game we're going to talk about. Game 2 happens. This is the game where if you've ever been a jungler, Moon got autofilled this game as a jungler because that's how it felt like. He actually started like 07. It's like I was jungling this game.
Acadian takes Rek'Sai, ganks him in his own jungle because it's Rengar, so he fucks him up a little bit, and then he's like, oh, I'll just swing to the other side of the jungle and keep farming, and he just dies to Raptors. And the kill still goes over to Acadian.
And Acadian then loops in and takes his Raptors after it. And then so it's like the most brutal opening for a jungler possible. Like, I felt so bad watching Moon play this early game. I was just like, you lose.
Yeah, and then Acadian, as a good jungler, doesn't let up, keeps being in his shit all game.
He starts 5-0-3 with like a 2-level lead. It's disgusting because he also has Cinderhulk full tank, so he's unkillable for most of this early game. And so, of course, at this time, you're just like, oh, so Echo Fox wins. There's no way you can lose when your jungler is 5-0. But you know what? Echo Fox, just astounding.
Unbelievably bad late game.
Yes.
And like to be fair, like yes, their comp will probably get outscaled in a 5v5 setting. Corki Trist versus Corki Trist Rumble, against Kennen, Talia, Jin. It's obvious which team's gonna team fight better, but it never needs to get there.
Yeah, but the idea is like, oh, teams shouldn't be able to play the Echo Fox and be like, let's just pick late game because they can't close anyways. Like we can
you can do that, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you play against Echo Fox and you pick Trist, congratulations, you have like 50% of the game won. You just have to make sure you don't lose that bad early.
You can lose by 4K, not a big deal.
Yeah, and
especially, oh god, dude, Froggen's Talia. We'll talk about this in a second with Pyrian because I made a point on the desk that I want to make again here. But it's the opposite point for Froggen. Where like he's a really good player. You put him on Talia, his ults are just useless, absolutely useless ultimate. He may as well not even have that button. I mean, he has it and he presses it, but like there's never a time where you're like, oh yeah, he walled them away from that turret. That was really nice. Or like, oh, they can't get to Baron now. That's good. Free objective. Oh, they're trying to get in a team fight and they can't, escape now.
For me, Froggen's greatest strength is like, okay, his laning is super good. So all you want to do is put him on a laner, scales really well, and has like good impact early game. And you know what's really good right now with that? Corki. Every game, put him on Corki, he'll just pop off.
That'll especially be relevant in game 3 when we get there. But yeah, it's like Talia's like the worst champion you can pick for, and we're like, yes, it's strong in lane, but it's only good if it roams. Not his biggest strength. And then like in late game, yeah, it still has okay team fight damage, but it doesn't make a lot of plays unless you're hitting big ultimates where like you're stopping people's escapes or something. And he's awful at that.
Yeah.
You want either like a LeBlanc where he can just run around, do his own shit, and he's great at that, or you want like an Ori or like just a Victor, some late game team fight monster who just needs to sit there and team fight.
Yeah, if you're looking for a true control pillar, which is kind of what Talia is, like controls the pace of the fight without doing damage, it's just like his Talia ults are really bad. Yeah. I completely agree.
Anyways, what ends up happening here, eventually like FlyQuest is losing and then they start trading for top inhib. So like Echo Fox is pushing down mid, Turtle's up on the top side after he picked up a couple kills over the course of skirmishes, so he was relatively strong at this point in the game. He had like 3 kills and 3 items at like 30 minutes.
I actually think Turtle's best champion right now is Trist. It's
really
fortunate
sure.
Trist is in the meta right now because he is as aggressive. He walks the line with Triss. He walks the line with every
every champion, but not every champion get resetting jumps.
Yeah, but and Triss is a great champion for him because if you're out of position, usually the AD is never the one that punishes you first. But Turtle will punish you if your positioning is bad. And against a lot of these lower level teams, like you'll find areas where like no one respects Triss jumping.
Yeah.
And Turtle will jump on your ass instantly.
So what happens? They trade for top inhib turret for mid inhib. They actually lose the inhib. They just get a couple turrets on the top side. Turtle's really, really strong. FlyQuest goes to force a Baron, and Echo Fox tries to like Jhin ult them off of it. And then Keith is on the right side of the blue wall while the rest of the team's on the left.
Oh, yeah,
he walks into River, and this is what you're talking about. ADs usually won't punish you. Turtle sees him and just jumps on his face and fucks him up.
Yeah, literally like 3 hits him and then he flashes away, chases with flash, jumps over the blue buff wall
Into
blind,
3 people.
and it doesn't even matter because he's like, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And so like I actually think Triss is great for Turtle, and in this current meta, if you see him, you might see bans for against Triss because he actually plays it very well.
All right, so then moving on to game 3, Echo Fox realizes that they should take Corki away. So they give up Zac again to do this because they gave up Zac the first game as well. And I think they felt like if they banned Zac, maybe FlyQuest first pick Corki or something. So I kind of see what they're going for. They grab Corki Jhin right away. But this gives FlyQuest just like a monster team fight comp. Because like you're saying, it feels like if you just go late versus Echo Fox, you win. And they end up with Zac, Tahm Kench, Triss, Ori, Kled. And
the thing is about this game is, isn't this a game where Looper had a 60 CS lead on top lane? Like, this is a game where, yeah, it was. Like, I wrote it down. This is where a game where Looper just like gets a small lead from his from like jungle pressure and just pushes a gigantic CS lead. And it never felt that way.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm pretty sure this is the game.
Because it was Kled Rumble.
Wait, I'm pretty sure he had a really big lead this game.
I'm not sure, because I remember when I looked at this game, I was kind of like, yeah, so even though the Kled didn't, because usually you count, well, they did. They counter-picked Rumble with Kled.
What was it this game? Now I'm confused.
Everyone's saying no, but they're saying Kled fell 60 CS behind, so I don't know. Either way, the Kled just kind of like scaled into late game, became a tank. That's where I was going to go with it. Because like usually Balls feels like he should get smashed by Looper, but he didn't die. He was just a tank.
Yeah, it was 30 CS, 50 CS behind that 20 minutes.
Pretty brutal.
But yeah.
But guess what? Trist is doing just fine. Orianna's doing just fine.
And I don't know. I just watched this Trist and I'm just like, he's really good at taking opportune moments. Like actually. And not in like a joke way. It's a way where I'm like, he wins them the game by finding good chunk onto priority targets before the fight start. He pokes them down by jumping in, which is not. That sounds so stupid as the AD carry.
It's not that stupid. Well, it is a little stupid because you're using your escape to do it. But it's kind of like old Juggernaut, where like when you played Juggernaut, you didn't try to kill them. You just put all the buffs at Kog'Maw. He ran at them, autoed them 3 times, and put them low. Yeah, and you just did that till they couldn't contest them.
And the biggest thing about this is you just had to have like faith that you could do it. You know, like you had to just like believe that you had the power to do it and just walk forward. Even against like 5 skill shots and like 10 things that can kill you, walking up was the hardest thing.
Yeah. But anyways, this time around, Echo Fox get another like 3k gold lead. They're winning some skirmishes around the map. It's all great, but it doesn't fucking matter because they're not like snowballing the game super hard. And then eventually, FlyQuest wins a mid skirmish. Turtle's fed, and then they pick 2 people, take Baron, end the game 3 minutes later. It's a 31-minute game, basically.
It's just very clear after this week especially that Echo Fox really struggles at being able to close out games. And it's become a real problem to where you could safely say Echo Fox has, thinking about all the teams in the league, the worst or second worst late game of any team in the league.
Yeah, I would probably put worst. I really.
I just don't remember when TL gets in late game positions where they have a lead. So it's like maybe they have a better or worse one.
It could be a little bit of bias because Echo Fox generally does have leads. They had leads all 3 games here actually.
Yeah, and I think that like they have good things about them, but like it's just really brutal when it's like old Envy, right?
Yeah.
You just can't, if you can't close, who cares if you can't get wins?
Yeah, exactly. And it's getting to that point where like they won 3 and they've lost 6 straight?
They lost 5 straight, won 1.
And then they lost
again. They lost another one.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's getting to the point where you're starting to see like the pattern.
Yep. Moving on to the second to last. Wait, are we doing MV Dig first?
You're doing the MV Dig first. And actually, yeah, we're doing MV Dig because I wrote it down.
Okay. even though the series ended last. Yeah, that's fine. So,
Oh,
yeah, that's fine.
do you want to do the other one?
Confuse the viewers. They don't know.
Whatever. We're doing MV Dig
Yeah.
first. Shut up, Mark.
All right. This was a pretty fun series. Another 3-game series because we've never ever end early anymore.
Nope.
And this is a 2-1 victory for Envy, where for the most part it felt like Dignitas won this series. Like they played better for a lot of this series. It felt like to me, but Envy actually got the 2 wins.
I think a lot of it came down to the fact that they did a lot of good things, but they didn't. It's like it does. Oh, I don't know.
Use your words, Scarra.
I don't think it felt like they won the series for me. Like,
I think the last game, it felt like they should have won with like how that last game started in particular.
oh no, I think that's a whole other story. If you ask me, should they have won? Yeah, sure. But I don't know. I thought Envy clearly deserved the win. You know, yeah, for the most part.
All right, well, let's get into the games then. So, what ends up happening in the first game? It's kind of like Envy just run Xayah every game, and they're just taking team fight comps. Elise, Braum, Shen, Corki with Xayah. Dignitas, mostly the same thing. Lee, Jin, Morg, Ori, ᵐᵉᵐᵉ. The one thing that goes in their favor this whole time is the fact that fucking Someday is way better than ᵐᵉᵐ. And you could feel that over the course of this series pretty heavily.
I have a big problem with this comp, actually.
For Dig?
For Envy.
Okay, yeah.
Because this is a comp where, okay, for the most part, you don't want to draft the same damage sources on top side. So if both your solo lanes and your jungle are the same damage source, it's really, really hard for you to be able to take, like even fights in the mid game where they just buy, like, their first resist item. Unless you have a guaranteed way to get your bot lane out of lane effectively with even or with a lead. And so when you think of Envy, how many times do you think of Envy you're just like, Lyra's going to be bot lane? I think it's like...
sometimes?
It's like sometimes, but it's hard. I don't think they're like a bot-centric type of team. I just think Lyra goes wherever he wants, you know? And like, I don't necessarily think that they have like a plan in their bot lane getting out of lane. It was just like, okay, we hope our bot lane's better. Which, to be fair, they probably are.
Yeah, I mean, well, what happens in this game is Lyra gets first blood, great, but then at 10 minutes in, there's that big skirmish in the bot lane that goes heavily in Dig's favor because one, Pyrian's a little late on the roam, and then Someday interrupts the Shen ultimate coming in from ᵐᵉᵐ, and it stops him from getting able to make that a 5v4, and then Dignitas wins that fight 3-for-1 overall. And then like a bunch of the other scrappy fights that break out go in Dig's favor. There's like a 1-for-1, and then there's a bigger one. I think it's a 3-for-1 or 2-for-1 for Dig on the top side. So like they're just getting leads through a lot of skirmishes.
Yeah. Oh, this is a game where Dig had like not only a big lead, they had a big mountain dragon lead.
Yeah.
And if you want to know how important mountain dragons are, literally watch the TSM vs C9 series where like one mountain is like the difference between the enemy team being able to contest, like do Baron.
So before we go around spouting all this nonsense about mountain dragon, it is situationally the strongest dragon, but on average the weakest. Because it literally only matters when you're able to hit objectives. And the rest of the time does nothing. Whereas like Ocean, Cloud, and Mountain, or Infernal, always irrelevant.
So if you're losing and you have Mountain, it only really helps to sneak Baron. And there's every other situation, you're not doing anything with it.
And there's an example of one of these games where like late game, Dig is behind, like 15k, 10k gold. They win a fight, and they can push up mid for a mid inner or go for Mountain. And they go for Mountain. And it's like, that does literally nothing for you in that game. And so like, those are kind of situations where like, you would actually want any other dragon. But there are times, like that TSM series, where like, the extra 3 seconds that they can do Baron faster with it wins them the game.
And I also think this is a game where like, having Mountains is great for them.
Yeah, because it's relatively close.
And I think they have like a small lead, and they're a team that does a really good job around Baron usually. And unfortunately, that comment was stated by a desk, so of course they got cursed this game with having like, for the most part, like bad Baron control.
They got one Baron early, right? They got one Baron, and they like pushed in bottom inhib pretty far. And I don't know if they took bottom inhib or they just like took the turret.
I only read that there was one Baron. I don't necessarily.
Holy shit, chat, calm down.
That's copy pasta from the Reddit thread.
Yeah, I know. I understand it's a copy pasta, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, people are crazy. But this is definitely one of the things where it's just like,
Well, what ends up happening is they do a really bad Baron where they try and turn off of it, and like they fail to do so, and Envy gets a 3-for-0 in Baron off of it.
Don't they win the game there, or they win the game on the next team fight?
There's one more team fight mid lane that happens, where Corki is able to do a lot, I believe, but they basically lose because they lose Baron there, and the game ends like. Right
Oh wait! This isn't the multiple mountain game. This is the multiple infernal game. They had double infernal and mountain.
Yeah.
And so this is the game where it's like you don't have to really care too much about scaling because your comp is going to scale well. Just pick the good fights. And unfortunately, I think double infernal mountain and you having the lead is one of the best combinations you can get.
Yeah.
Because you have it's like you have infernal, the best dragon, and then you have one mountain to be able to secure objectives better.
Yeah.
And so like they had like the best dragon combination possible, and they still weren't able to secure objectives at all.
Yeah.
Which felt
Pretty bad.
really bad by Dig.
This was definitely a game that Dig should have won. They fucked up around the Baron one time. Envy punished pretty well. They get the 3-for-0. They take a Baron. They win the fight after. Game over. Envy. Brings us into game 2. Similar story this time around with Envy running mostly the same comp. Xayah, Corki, but with Shen. But this time it's Rek'Sai, Rakan. Whatever. Same comp. Dignitas switches things up. They grab the Tristana, which is becoming a monster, with Orianna Kled, similar to what we saw at P1 that game. Or, excuse me, FlyQuest game. And this time, another first blood for Envy. Great. Super good invade, actually, where they controlled the second red buff spawn. They killed Shrimp on it. And for the most part, Lyra got the better.
The Rakan with the Shen ulti came in. Yep, he died.
And then Envy, they win a drag skirmish, but they don't get the drag in. And then it feels like Envy should be winning this game, but they stall out. And it's basically up to Someday getting a solo kill up on the top side that brings things back in their favor. With the Kled versus Shen.
Actually, this is the one game where I was driving from there to see, so I don't actually remember too much about this game.
Well, basically, Envy was winning a little bit more around the bot side. Not super hard. All tech on Trist is mostly scaling up, and then it's basically Kled creating enough space for Dig to scale back into the game. And then they pick 2 people right in front of Baron, and it's... Lyra does like the weirdest thing where like he's sitting on the raptor brush area and Big's running at him with Thresh and he just jukes left and right for like 2 seconds and Big just runs straight at him.
How do you feel about Lyra's positioning in mid-late game situations? There's a lot of games where I watch Lyra and I'm just like, this guy just gets picked in the most random situations. Like it'll be like a situation where like the other team is sieging mid lane. Lyra's the only one defending tower. He gets CC'd, he dies instantly, and they get Baron. Happened in the last series they played. Yeah. And there'll be just times where I'm just like, wait, this guy just dies.
Yeah, so like his early game nasty, but we were talking about last season. It's hard to know how bad he is in the late game because all of Envy sucked in the late game, and now it is starting to feel like maybe he is kind of struggling in the late game because this is basically Big at Thresh running at him, and he doesn't want to give up the jungle, but he's also trying to dodge a Thresh hook, so he just goes back and forth, and then he just gets hooked from point blank. He almost dies instantly, has to leave the fight. Someday chases him down and kills him while Alltech gets another kill, and then the jungler's dead, so Dig gets a free Baron. And then it's super in Dignitas' favor, and eventually Alltech gets a penta in the end of the game.
I must really not... I watched this game. Why do I not remember this?
Alltech got a penta kill, dude.
I think when you're ahead on Triss, you're gifted the kill. Like... I think if you're the winning team, Triss is the best cleanup AD in the game. You just gifted the penta. If you get late enough, I'm not saying he didn't play well. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens, It's different. Like, it's different when you get like a penta with like
Jhin. Like
yeah.
you had to play that fight really well as Jhin to end up near everyone.
Like if Ari with a penta kill, wow, dude, you must have played out of your mind. And it's like.
Triss is like melting front line, and then once you get through front line, she jumps onto the back line.
Jumps 5 times.
Yeah. So it's really not super impressive. This one was kind of funny because like they killed everyone kind of more around mid lane, and then they ran into the base. Empyrean came out and tried to defend it, and he got like the last second kind of penta. Anyways, ready for game 3?
Yeah.
Because it feels like you didn't watch shit of game 2. Game 3.
Dude, I don't know why I don't remember it. I literally watched it here.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you were busy, you were busy blowing Josh.
I
can get balls out of your face long enough to see the screen.
Dude, come on, man. Why you gotta spill the secret?
I don't know, because I'm jelly. Game 3, really smart adaptation by Envy. Dignitas in Game 1 on red side banned Taliyah in the second ban phase. Game 2 on blue side banned Taliyah in the first ban phase, and then going back on the red side,
They ban it in the second.
they don't ban it because Envy takes it away. They have Taliyah game 3, bro. What the fuck? Envy takes Taliyah game 3 in the second rotation of the first phase.
Did I watch this series at all? Keep going.
Holy shit, dude.
Dude, I promise you I watched this.
Do you remember this game? They start. Shrimp has a really nasty path to avoid the ward on Raptors.
He gets blue buff, and
He goes red, blue.
The scuttle.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and then he goes to mid, ganks it. Pyrion kites all the way up to top side, pulls Lyra and ᵐᵉᵐᵉ down. They lose the top fight 3-0.
This is the game where they lose the top jungle 3-0, and I was just like, all right, this game's over.
Right.
But unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for Envy's bot lane just wins. Like,
Well, yes, they-
super hard.
They first pick Thresh. Hakuho goes off really hard on it. Keeps nailing hooks. They get first turret from him. Pyrion has a good roam because he's Taliyah and he's nasty at it. I actually wrote down Pyrion instead of Taliyah on my notes because I just associate.
That's his best character.
Yeah,
by far. It's not
yeah.
even close.
And so Hakuho basically takes the game over. He has like 100% kill participation in the first 15 minutes, either 5 or 7 kill participation. And they eventually like swing way back into the game, and then once they're back into the game, Pyrion plays Taliyah perfectly, basically, and they're able to find pickoffs. They're able to use the grab turrets. They try and block out Baron with it. They do a ton of stuff, and there's like one fight that goes bad near the mid inhibitor.
The way I just saw this game was that Envy's bot lane just super hard carried them out of the gutter this game. So a situation where you're just like, oh, well, they lose. Like, if you lose the top fight 3-0, you should just lose the game.
TL won from a situation like that.
Yeah.
CLG won today from a similar situation, 3-0 on the top side instantly.
But
Envy come back from it.
their bot lane's actually really good. Really,
Yeah.
really, really good.
Apollo Price, top 380 carry in the LCS.
Apollo and
Wiz Fusion.
Hakuo feel like last season's Cody and Ole, like relatively slept on until we're getting to later in the playoffs. I think that they're definitely going to show more and more people that are like actual threats in the team.
Yeah, I mean, Freak in his 80 carry rankings had them second or third, one of the 3 people in the A tier, and everyone was like freaking out, like, how could Apollo be up there? And it's like, because he's one of the best 80 carries.
Yeah, look at his CS difference. Look at his team fighting.
Yeah.
He's playing really well. He's hard carrying them in a lot of games.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, even like the game that they lost in the first game, he was playing well.
He was playing well.
Yeah,
Usually,
or a second game.
Usually, you don't have any problems with the guy. Like, even if he's playing like a little bit bad, it's like a little bit bad than what he usually plays at, which is still an acceptable level.
Yeah.
I think this season, especially, he's consistency monster right now. Really, really good.
Anyways, this game basically comes down to bot lane saves them from falling out completely from this game, and then hands them a lead, and then Pyrion kind of runs with it with the rest of the team. And ᵐᵉᵐ has a pretty good game overall, gets some good engages.
So, we can't possibly know this, but like they do have Niski
Yeah.
on like at the studio every week. Like, is there any reason why he's not seeing much play? Do you hear anything about it?
I haven't heard anything about it, and I was honestly surprised when I saw Pyrion back in at the start of their first series this week.
Yeah, because I thought he played like pretty poorly the series before.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like, okay, maybe they could give the other guy a shot, but that's not.
Yeah, it's hard to know why they choose to do it, but like honestly, his Taliyah is just fucking nasty. So what I said on the desk, and it's kind of the opposite of what we were saying with Froggen, is I think Pyrion is like a mid-tier to like slightly lower tier mid laner in the NALCS. He's a top 3 Taliyah in the NALCS, but I don't think he plays laning phase as dominantly as like a Bjergsen on Taliyah does.
No, absolutely not.
But he has the best walls in the LCS.
What's his competition? Okay, it's not
It's not Froggen.
It's not Froggen.
It's not Ryu. Ryu has the ugliest
No
ults.
one really plays that much Taliyah, right?
Bjergsen plays a good chunk of it.
Yeah,
but,
Bjergsen's Taliyah is good, actually.
but his walls are more for roaming walls than zoning off objective and team fighting walls.
Which I think is fine because his roaming walls are typically really
Oh, yeah,
good.
yeah, he uses those well, but Pyrion does them all. He roamed down to the bot lane this time with the wall. He tried to cut off from Baron. It's like a little slow, but it was still a good idea. He used it in a team fight to cut off the escape, the final one that they win, that they smash, and then he used it around a mid inhibitor turret as well. Like, he uses walls well everywhere.
Yeah, well, I think of people who tend to prioritize Taliyah, not many people do it at the extent that Pyrion does it. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, Pyrion has a good reason, right? It's his best character. Everyone else has other pocket picks, which are like Bjergsen Syndra, where it's like, oh, you just lose the game if this guy gets a lead, right?
Yeah.
Or you have like High's Corki, for instance. Champions were like, you prefer that over
Yeah,
Taliyah all the time.
and his Taliyah is legitimately like if Lyra and Apollo get the team a 2 to 3K gold lead, he will get them turrets and extend that gold lead in the mid game because his Taliyah is so good. And that's what happened in this game. Was like, yes, Hakuho got player of the game, deserved it, saved the game from going out of control. But then once he gave it back to the team, Aperion was like the other big force this game.
Which is usually not what I like to say because his relative gameplay on other stuff, like let's say Corki for instance, it's not very
His Ahri is acceptable, his Corki is not very good. What else have we seen out of him even? Like I think a Cassio or an Ori game or something?
I think he just played exclusively Corki almost.
Yeah, he played
series.
one other game, but it's basically Taliyah Ahri, and that's all he can play decently.
All right. Are you done with the series?
I'm done.
Let's go to just the best series to talk about. We got CLG versus TL.
Can we just not talk about to blue ball Tony really hard?
Oh, I'm so.
Wouldn't that be so fun? Like I want to talk about the series just for 2 minutes, but we could also just not do it and fuck with Tony.
I'm down. So this is a series where TL loses 0-2.
Yep, TL loses 0-2. They can't win. They're bad.
All right, on our way to our power rankings. Great. So, anyways,
yeah, God, it would have felt good, dude. There's really not too much.
What do I say about this series? What? Oh, I will say this: Dardoch straight into 3 deaths first game. Actually, I don't know what he was doing. Straight up, are you serious?
And I actually kind of hated their draft in the first game.
Sure, I'm gonna throw that out there too. Tony's watching, dude. I'll just go.
Well, all right, bear with me here and tell me what you think. Give me a second opinion.
Let me look at the draft real quick. I wrote this one down.
TL takes Kate, Corki, Braum, Renekton, Rek'Sai. It's basically the same comp that they got shit on yesterday by Echo Fox, right? Remember, you set up around the turrets, you focus down the turret.
Corki, Kate, really good 2-man carry.
They can disengage really well, and the enemy team has to force onto them. So what does CLG grab in their first rotation? Ashe, Gragas, Kassadin. You have 2 engaged tools and a hyper late game carry that's excellent at assassinating 80 carries. Looks like a great comp. And then in their next 2 picks, in the second rotation, they grab Zyra and Fiora. So you end up with this squishy, weird 1-3-1 comp when you just had this comp that was going to engage every time they tried to set up near a turret. They totally flipped what the comp did.
My problem with this is that I didn't mind the Zyra. I was like, okay, they're looking for a lane dominant stuff to stabilize because they need something. You need dominant lanes to be able to work around having Kassadin because Kassadin will be your losing lane. Yeah, and then you have to put pressure there.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with the Zyra if they followed it up with a tank top or you put the Gragas top and grab
I just don't know a situation where you pick Kassadin. Fiora, unless you counterpick both sides.
Right, and they took it into rough matchups with a team that wants to group as 4 in front of a turret. And, your wave clear is not that good with Gragas, Zyra, Ashe. It's, okay, but, not against Caitlyn, Corki, dude. You're going to get poked. Zyra's going to eat 2 big ones and go the fuck home.
I just thought they took 2 volatile matchups, plus they weren't even necessarily guaranteed the better jungle pick for a situation where it's just all right, let's go for it.
Yeah, and like you're saying, Dardoch kind of fed a little bit this game, and any better team here wins with TL's draft. It's just because it's TL.
You literally look at what he decided to do. All right, I don't know what they decided level 1. He looks to invade blue side as Gragas, but he's with Kassadin on the team. And there's almost no situation playing with Kassadin where you can invade the enemy jungler, unless the other mid laner is literally AFK. Even if they're playing a counter matchup, but let's say you're playing Kassadin to LeBlanc. The LeBlanc will still have push pressure on Kassadin. So, for the most part, if the Kassadin even has push pressure and looks to walk off, the other mid laner can always cut. And so, it's really, really dangerous to ever do this position because you're with Kassadin.
So, what happens? Dardoch dies there, but a little bit later, they get a 3-for-1 on the top side because it's TL. Yeah. And they just play this fight poorly. CLG immediately plays it well.
Who he TP'd at a good time. They would clean up the fight 3-0, and you're just all right, great.
And you're all right, maybe they'll win from here because, okay, they got the 3-for-1.
And the funniest thing about this game, Piglet is, hard carrying their early game for them.
Well, yeah, so, you think it's over from the 3-for-1. Dardoch hands over, 2 more kills. Piglet's going off. And then at 18 minutes, they start sieging mid. And CLG goes for, this engage onto them, and it just gets disengaged by TL, and they go back to mid lane, and they take the mid turret. No kills. And I'm CLG might actually lose this game because their comp is so bad at dealing with what TL wants to do.
But no, it's okay because the third time Dardoch gets picked.
It's the next level.
He's 0-3. They start Baron. And at this time, Darshan can come in, praise the Lord. He comes in.
Hey, guys, what worked really well the last time CLG tried to engage onto us? We had all of mid lane to fall back to. Let's try that again at Baron. Oh wait, there's nowhere to fucking run.
Fiora Cassidy ends up cleaning up the entire fight. It's a 4...
They try and force a Baron at 21 minutes with only killing the jungler against a 1-3-1 comp. Like, the threats are
jungler's
also
already 0-2. Like, getting the third kill...
Like, the Baron is fucking you guys up. That's like fighting a 5v5 or worse.
So they clean up a 4-for-1, and you're giving a 4-for-1 to a Fiora Cassidy.
And this is after Darshan, with just the 1 kill and 2 assists from the 3v1, had already solo killed Lorlo again. So he was already going to like kind of start hard carrying this game. And then this happened. And then he goes off.
Yeah, so at this time, right after this play, there's no way TL can come back in the game. It's actually not possible. Yeah. Unless TL find a way to kill Darshan really early, or like when he's splitting and then group up again. But at this point, there's not much of a chance.
No, and they run over that game. After the TL forces Baron stupidly. That gets us into game 2, which there's really nothing to say here. CLG blind Gnar, a little risky, given that Lorlo's a one-trick Aurelia, or like kind of was known as that in summer last year. He takes Aurelia, but Dardoch camps it, and they get 2 kills. The Aurelia gets shut down, the game's over.
Yeah, and not just like shut down, like the Aurelia gets like, he's like, just gets hard clapped.
It's like I'm standing up, and it's just... and you're in the pavement. You're just this is like a little like angel, like snow angel from like where you got imprinted into the fucking ground.
You just see like literally Lorlo being like, wait, I can't even walk. The way he tries to like clear the wave is so desperate. He's like ulting like the backline, being like, please give me this CS, please give me that CS. He's like, okay, maybe if I walk up here, he won't be able to do it, and then he gets chunked every time. It's actually super depressing.
Yeah, it's really depressing. TL gets smashed. It's really not close. They had like one fight. They got a couple kills, but it doesn't matter. And
generally, Lorlo could have dodged at least one of the ganks in lane. He just played the ganks out bad. The first one was set up well by CLG.
Yeah, that was good.
Second one, literally, just the guy walks through lane, and then instead of... when you see the Gragas body slam animation, initially you have to flash. Because just respect the other player enough to be able to flash body slam you.
And the worst part is Reignover was up there. They could have like maybe still won that 2v2 because it wasn't out of control yet.
If he flashes the body slam and doesn't get autoed, by empowered autoed or like into the queue, it's okay. But he did. He dies instantly, and okay, whatever. Reignover's pathing is then useless because they got another free kill and top lane is just gone.
Which brings us to the power rankings then, because CLG smashed this series.
Which I guess for power rankings, both top and bottom are pretty... Well, actually, I think I have... Top 2 might be complicated, but I'm down to start at the very bottom.
Yeah, so the weird thing about the top right now is there's this fucked up four-way thing going on where, like, CLG beat Immortals... No. Immortals beat CLG, who beat TSM, who beat Immortals,
who lost, and then C9 beat TSM and then lost to
CLG. Yeah, so they all in the last 2 weeks they all have beat and lost to each other.
So yeah, the only thing you don't have to worry about is Dignitas because they didn't beat anyone.
Yeah, they are not in the top 4 anymore. So they have dropped. They also went 0-2 this week against worse teams.
So yeah, I'm sorry, any Dig fans out there. It happened.
So we'll get up to the top teams in a second here. I think we can start from the bottom. There is one team in sole possession of 10th place. They are a team that is hard to identify any strengths. It's going to be Team Liquid. Anything you want to throw in there? The moratorium? Or the obituary?
I mean, the only thing about TL is like if they get Olaf or Gallia or both, if any team hands them both, they probably deserve to lose right now. But even then, that's like their only winning formula. I don't know what else they can win with. I don't even know if they have a bad late game because usually they don't get there.
Yeah, like they're making him look pretty bad when they started that Baron, I guess.
Yeah, I can't even. I don't know. I don't have enough like points of reference to be like they can play well late game. They're just not getting.
Who did Echo Fox lose to this week? They lost to FlyQuest and
everyone.
They only played 2 teams. They couldn't have lost to everyone.
Okay, they lost.
Who was the other team?
Who was today? They played FlyQuest, right?
Yeah. Are these even from this week?
I think they might have lost to Envy. It was Envy.
I don't think these are from this week.
They lost to Envy.
Okay, so they lost to Envy, and then they lost to FlyQuest. So the question is, has Echo Fox, despite having a better rating, have they potentially dropped below the other 2 teams that were in the 10th place slot?
If we're looking at this like just in terms of like how well they played this week, I think FlyQuest actually looked like reasonable. I think
they looked really reasonable with Turtle having a bigger carry role.
Yeah, Turtle just like ended up being put in a position where I thought that he really became a secondary carry for this team this week. Like he had great performances this week, and just off that fact, I wouldn't put him.
Fox beat Envy.
Oh, Fox beat Envy. Echo Fox won against Liquid and lost to FlyQuest.
Wait, they played TL this week? Oh yeah, they did. I said they shit on TL with that comp earlier. I knew that. I'm retarded. You motherfuckers. God damn it, Twitch chat. All right. Beating Liquid doesn't mean shit, right? And then the other two teams that they beat, then last week they went 0-2. And that the only reason that they stopped this slide was because they played TL. If you disclude the victory over TL, they are 0-6, I believe, after starting 3-0.
And the only thing I will say is that they do look better, and their early game is still good. But they can't. They have the same problem Envy from last play.
It's Envy one. Like if they got into any game versus any team that's not Team Liquid in the mid late game without a monster lead, they lose.
Yep. Just tell me, look at how they do Barons and tell me that it's good.
So are you ready to put Echo Fox below potentially FlyQuest and P1?
Yeah, easy.
All right, dude. Damn. I might not have done that, but I'm down. Let's do that.
Really? You think either of these teams are better?
It's hard to argue either way.
All right, what's the team you think is closest?
I think
FlyQuest?
I think it's closer for FlyQuest. Because here's what I'll say about P1. Mike Young is like a legitimate like win condition in my mind, where like he will pop off and win you some early games, and then the rest of the team is suitable enough to win. And they're 3-3 in recent weeks. All right, they have only lost to CLG, Immortals, and one other decent team. I forget who it is.
That's a good.
They 2-0'd Immortals this time around, or I forget exactly, but either way, they're 3-3 and they look reasonable. So I have a hard time putting FlyQuest above them. And I have a hard time putting Echo Fox above them when Echo Fox is fucking dying everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issues with Echo Fox's low. I think that until they solve their late game problems, or at least show improvement.
Yeah,
I think they've only improved the consistency of their mid early game, because they even struggled to do that earlier in the season, like in the mid part of the season. And now it's like it's okay now, and then they just still suck at the same thing they sucked at.
Yeah.
So. It's where would you put between the next two teams, FlyQuest and P1?
So, like I said, FlyQuest.
Oh, actually, would you put Envy above them?
Yeah, I put Envy above them. I know where I want to put Envy.
But you would put them above these two teams.
I would put Envy above these two teams, I think.
I can maybe see the argument between Envy and P1.
Well, so the hard thing about Envy right now is that they've been swapping around their mid laners. So I feel like if they just stuck with Pyrian the whole time, there'd be no doubt in my mind that Envy is like, probably the number 5 team. But with Niski coming in and not looking so great, with Pyrian coming back in, not looking so great until he got onto Talia, it's a little hard to say. But P1 did lose to TL. They lost to TL last week. So like as much as we want to be like they're 3-3 in the past couple weeks, they also did lose to TL.
All right, so it looks like our only problem with the next two slots are FlyQuest and P1.
Yeah,
I think P1 looks more consistent.
I agree with that.
But FlyQuest actually had such an upward trend that I like what I'm seeing. This is like the first week where I'm just like, Turo came into like God mode this week. I don't know if they could reproduce it, but they even had like decent macro decision making that you like expected from a team with a great shot caller. They had Moon lose early games and still win games. So like they had things that I didn't see before that I was impressed at.
What are you doing, Josh? We didn't say FlyQuest 8.
No, really?
We might say FlyQuest 8, but we didn't say it for sure yet.
I just figured because you were like, they're close to the FlyQuest, so.
I'd put them 8.
I'd probably put them 8 too, but Josh is jumping the gun, dude. Come on, what are you trying to rush us for, dude? It's not even.
I'm hungry.
It's 7:14. We're going to Scarra's later. Calm down. But yeah, I think for FlyQuest, what I'd say is like it feels like it's almost entirely off the back of Turtle having a monster week. And until I see that a little bit more, I'm not as convinced of that as I am with how good Mike Young is playing. Because Mike Young has looked good for 3 weeks. Turtle has looked good for 1.
Yeah.
So I'll value the consistency a little bit higher for, like you said, for P1.
And I'm down. We can slot in P1 in the next spot right above.
Look at this fucking guy. He's trying to rush us along.
Well, I guess actually the one thing is like, what do you think about Dignitas's kind of collapse? because they did not have a good week. They had a pretty tragic week.
They had a pretty tragic week. What I would say for Dig is that ᵐᵉᵐ still looks decent sometimes. Someday still looks decent sometimes. They just like, I feel like their drafts have been kind of bad for them, where they just do really dumb things and let the other team often get Trist and carry versus them. And then their Trist isn't as good. Like there was a game where we were talking about how Alltech could have carried on Trist, but like he ulted Highway at the wrong time.
I feel like it sucks that the win condition is like, or like the reason their drafts are bad. It's like, oh yeah, they gave away Trist. Like I don't know if that should ever be a reason why people lose draft. Because I don't think she's that strong, but I understand what you mean.
Right. Well, it's like they often don't have the tools to deal with it, I guess. And they did lose to...
So what do you think about their bot lane AD situation for Dignitas? I think I
think Alltech's fine. I think they're doing okay. I feel like they lost to Envy in a close series, and they lost to FlyQuest in the close series. I'm fine with them being, just a little bit ahead of FlyQuest. Like, it is relatively close.
Okay, so would you potentially put P1 above Dignitas? I wanted to bring it up because I would say, in terms of, like, I would not put Envy. Envy would be in top 5.
Yeah, for me, Envy's 5.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then Dig has to be the one that fell down because they've lost, like, what, 2 series this week?
Well, yeah, so Dig is either 6 or 7. I'm just not convinced they're below P1 yet. It's close for me.
It's really how much do you want to believe in, like, the Mike Young, to be honest.
Yeah, well, because, like, the thing about it is, and we say it a couple times, P1 lost to TL. So, for me...
Dig had a really close series this...
Yeah, they didn't get, like, smashed ever. They were close games.
It's okay. I'll roll with you on this. It's really, really close. I'm down to put it going P1 Dig.
Yeah, P1 Dig.
Josh.
Yep, P1 Dig.
Josh.
Yep, P1, and then Dig. And then even while you're at it, just to not inconvenience you too much, you can also throw Envy. You just guessing with these arrows?
You're really good.
Is he doing this off memory? No, he's just guessing.
He's actually
he's fucking guessing.
Good.
No, it's
50-50, let's go.
Wait, you don't. Maybe they didn't move anywhere.
Wait, he coin flipped the arrows. Are you serious?
I got it right.
Are you serious?
All of it? Yeah.
Oh my god, you're too good, man.
Fucking beast. Oh, all right.
Call me a god.
All right, so here's the question that I think will decide at least the 3-4 spot. I don't think there's any way C9 breaks top 2. No chance.
Absolutely not. For me, top 2 is already, I know what 2 teams. It's still GTSM.
Right, which means the next 2 are Immortals C9. The question is, how far did Immortals fall with their O2 week this week?
All the way, in my opinion.
Really? You're not convinced that it was just a bad... Because sometimes you just have a stinker of a weekend.
I think it was a bad week, but it's not too much that. But I think also C9 had really good play. Like, play to where I was just like, wow, they did a good job.
Well,
like, off the back of, like, maybe even some, like, poor play from usually the people who perform well. I thought they had good games, honestly.
I think Contracts had a really good week. Sneaky had a decent week. A good week, but... Nothing like, oh my god, Sneaky's revitalized. He was always good.
Yeah, Jensen had, as always,
a good week. And then Ray was able to come in and help out a lot in their series.
And this is a week where I thought Smoothie played, like, okay. Like, not that great.
Yeah, he was fine. So, I see what you're saying, but Immortals is so scary to me because we keep being like, oh, we don't believe in them. We don't believe in them. We put them one last week after they finally have a great week. And then instantly they have a shitty week right after it.
I would definitely not move them down much if I didn't think that C9 did a good job this week, like a pretty good job. Like Immortals series were also, I mean, they lost 0-2 to TSM. They lost 0-2 to
1-3 versus P1, or 1-2 versus P1. So it is a very bad loss against P1 when you look at that. Like P1 were arguing 7th, 6th place team, borderline, not a playoff team.
I don't care too much about the loss against TSM. Like, I think that...
Yeah, if that was the only loss they had, I would still put them probably 2, honestly. But they did lose to P1, which is a fringe playoff team. And Mike Young played out of his mind, and it could easily be where it's like, hey, Immortals, don't give him Nidalee.
Yeah, no, honestly, but I don't know.
it's hard to say how much of that was like Mike Young Nidalee and how much was Immortals has a real problem.
Even if Immortals doesn't have a real problem, you think that C9 would be fourth? You just don't think C9 is better than Immortals?
I'm just like, who knows how C9 looks this next week? Like maybe Ray and Impact continue to struggle next week. And
so for you, it's about literally you don't know if Conscious will keep up the good week and if their top laner will be good, as opposed to Immortals where you don't know if like containing Smithy is like the key to them losing.
Yeah, because Mike Young had better series than Smithy. So is the kind of thing where like if you out jungle Immortals they lose? I don't know. Whereas like C9 is like who else is gonna step up?
Do you want to do 1-2 then and then move back, or I actually don't even know if that's easier, to be honest.
I think 1-2 is easier. I think CLG is number 1.
Tony here.
I think there'd be a good argument for TSM too.
I think there's a good argument for TSM. I think they're better in some ways and worse in others. Like CLG, their game plans are usually really smart. I love what they did yesterday versus C9.
A lot of it's always every time I look at their level 1, I'm just like, wow, they're just
level 1
ahead of the game.
They're so much more innovative than TSM that I just want to put CLG above them. Because TSM, like, yeah, they'll pick Thresh and Ashe and, you know, fucking Syndra and Lee
Sin,
and then Gragas top or some shit.
Oh,
or
shit,
like
they
Renekton.
won.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow, they won. And like, oh, man, we had a really crazy comp this time. We started prioritizing Kled and we took a Zillion against... Who'd they do that against?
Malzahar. It was against FlyQuest.
FlyQuest, yeah. Okay, great. You beat FlyQuest with a weird comp. I don't know. You know, it's not super convincing, some of their wins.
I would only give it to them in the fact that I think that they did a good job of improving their split push pressure this series.
Against Immortals?
Well, that's this week.
They lost to C9.
I'm talking about CLG.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, wait. Okay, sorry, I wasn't clear.
I wasn't sure when you said they improved.
I think CLG did an okay job at split, but I don't even know because they played against TL.
Right, it's one of those games where, like, you look at that first game draft, you look at how the early game was played by Dardoch, that's probably a loss against a lot of teams.
Yeah, and so, like, my biggest problem with CLG is actually that Dardoch doesn't seem like he fits completely in the puzzle yet.
Yeah, I mean,
and he'll have these really good situations where like he understands the game plan's executed well. TL game 2
and C9 game 3. He was the primary motivator in those victories both times around.
Yeah, super good play. And then he'll get those games where you're just like, TL game 1. Why would you look to invade in the situation where you're not going to get anything out of it? Or if you do get something, it's so risky.
Yeah.
You just die.
Wait, how am I a TSM fanboy when I'm advocating CLG over them and he's arguing for TSM over them? Do you have a brain, sir? Or madam? I shouldn't presume anything. I mean, maybe you're not even either of those.
Yeah, that could be a dog.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck do I know? I'm saying CLG won. I personally like them more. I don't know how you feel, but I think TSM, I'm still a little... They lost to C9. So,
but I would have liked to see another CLG game against another team.
Yeah, I would have liked it if they had a more convincing, if they had a convincing 2-0 or even 2-1 over a better team.
If they had a 2-0 over like P1 or better,
yeah,
I'd be okay. I'd be like, you're first for sure. But having a 2-0 against TL in the first game, I was just like, dude, you guys are playing with fire here.
But that's kind of CLG's story, is that they'll play up or down to the level of their opponent a little bit. And that's why I think they're also the best. Is because they have the best record right now. They're squarely at number 1. They beat a top team this week. Unlike every other top team lost this week.
To another top team.
Right. And then
CLG beat the top team.
Right. Even though last week, yes, they lost to Immortal, so it's that fucked up square we were talking about. I would still say, give me CLG number 1.
If we're looking at TSM, the thing about TSM is, do you need TSM to be flexible?
TSM has a better game record. I just said CLG plays down to the level of their opponent. They have the game 2 CLG. Hello? That doesn't mean they're worse. They just fucking do dumb shit sometimes. Whereas TSM's like, what if we pick Thresh Ashley again? Do you think we could win? Like they're going for W's more, despite what they tell you on social media. That's just not true.
I think Do you think TSM needs to experiment to win domestically?
No. I think that they could beat CLG running all the same shit. But right now, I just think CLG actually operates better as a team.
I think it's very close. I'm okay to go with CLG.
I think it's
first.
very close. Don't get me wrong. I just prefer CLG right now.
Right now, it's no question for me that TSM is like top 2 though. Like they're playing.
Yeah, it's
really
it's
well.
clearly 1-2. I think for me, I would just say that I know it's not a 5-game series right now, but CLG would be my best hope anywhere for a 5-game series.
All right, I give it to Mark. We'll put CLG first. Usually this is me advocating CLG wins, but I'm not. Holy
yeah, you turned off stream alerts for the Tony donation, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. We don't want Zick's little $100 donation popping up right now.
Carologic Gaming just donated something to my PayPal. That's so weird.
Yeah.
All the AX money they got from their booth is just mine now.
Ooh, aren't they going tomorrow?
They're the entire weekend. They have a booth.
Yeah, but CLG, the actual league team, is going
tomorrow. Yeah, maybe.
Afro said in an interview.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'll collect the money when we get there tomorrow.
Oh, someone said I said CLG's playing better as a team, despite sometimes Dardoch doing dumb shit in the early game. Go watch how they play with Orianna.
Yeah.
Compared to how C9 plays with Orianna. CLG, flash in aggressively, knock up 2-man Ori ult every single time. C9 with Orianna, I hope they walk over the ball. I'm Jensen, gonna go make a solo play. Both can work, but I'll take the team that can force action and instantly win team fights.
No, that game was actually single-handedly won because they only had one initiating threat for the most part, and he was able to play very, 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 very.
Yeah, they're against double mobile carries, and they find the angles.
Yep,
I like that. I
I'm
like
good.
that a lot. We saw that earlier in the split too with Rakan.
Yeah,
Ori, same shit. Like they have that on lock.
There's a lot of teams that do really poorly with being able to make like good initiations, like together.
Yeah.
CLG with the Warriors really good.
This is the same argument I made. I think CLG is the best Orianna team, but he's not the best Orianna player. I would take Jensen and Bjerg on Orianna every day of the week. But if you're CLG, I think they use Ori the best.
I think, yeah. I just think they use their mid laner better than a lot of other teams. Like their mid laner just functions better as
yeah, and that's who he styles. He's more of a facilitator than like anything.
Yeah.
Finally, Josh found that picture. He was looking for that for like 6 hours instead of putting TSM number 2.
Okay, TSM number 2, and now the second thing is Immortals versus Cloud9.
Yep. Computor.
Immortals had such.
That's such a bad week.
That's such a bad week. Like I think maybe they just what do you like to use? They hulked out last week.
Yeah.
This week though, they came a little bit down to earth, and you saw like maybe their problems. So yeah, maybe you need a jungle at Mike Young's level to be able to abuse Immortals' problems. But I think if that's the case, there's at least like 2 other junglers in the league that can do that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know if those are on the other top teams.
Envy?
No. CLG C9. I don't think Contracts or Sven or TSM C9. I don't think are like the junglers who are gonna like shit on Smithy and hold him down. Sven on Lee maybe. Yeah. But like if you take him off Lee, like is his Elise gonna get in there?
I think Dardoch and Lyra could do it.
Yeah, but yeah. So maybe Envy, but the other top teams that they're kind of in contention with right now. I mean, this is talking about head-to-head matchup.
Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't tunnel on that too hard. But I would say I don't think you can really go wrong either way here. I would like to see one more good week out of C9.
Yeah, because honestly, this is the first week where their top laners weren't just garbage in lane.
Yeah.
Like, actually just... Even with that being said, Ray still had the game where he was just like, let me just lose lane.
Yeah, he won that game with Jarvan, but he looked awful for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to get picked twice, spot side, just doing, like, dumb stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is, like, yeah, Ray came back in. C9 was able to win that series versus TSM, but then they lost, and I don't know. It's a little sketchy still. So until I see one more good week and one more meh week out of Immortals, I'm not quite ready to flip the 2. There's a reason Immortals is tied with TSM at number 2, and CLG is the 4th team. Or C9's the 4th team. How do you feel?
The 1-2, the 3-4 are really close. It's actually a pretty tough call. This is probably the toughest call of the week on where you put the 2 teams. Because I think that you can make a pretty easy argument for CLG in the situation where they 2-0 and TSM has that series against C9 where C9 just looks like
better than them straight up.
Yeah, straight up better.
Yeah.
But then also C9 had a game where they just got kind of...
They just lost to CLG. CLG kind of picked them apart.
Yeah.
They played a really smart game 1 and then a game 3 where they just used Ori extremely well and showed better team synergy. Just pick, dude. I'll go either way at this point. Get me out of here.
All right. Give me my way. Go the C9 3rd, Immortals 4th.
I disagree with this. You can throw an asterisk on there.
Dude, I gave you the 1 and 2, man.
I think C9, before people say I'm wrong, like, in the future, I think C9 is going to be the better team by the end of the split. I think we can agree on that.
Yes.
Yeah, C9 will be the better team, but I think this week right now, I take issue.
It's okay. You just got to trust me.
Throw an asterisk on there, Josh, for when we tweet this out.
Throw an asterisk?
Yeah.
Scarra's opinion only.
Yeah. Disagree by the rest of GLT. I don't know if Josh has an opinion, but we'll pretend it's the same as mine.
Wait, TSM hasn't changed spots? That's actually so funny.
Yeah, just number 2 forever.
Well, I mean, like, they're like, dude, I don't know how it is that you can be a TSM fan and complain about your team. Because I think that, like, at every single, you're literally in finals every single year. You win, like, 60% of your domestic, the region domestically. So the only way you can complain is, like, wow, they're not top 2 fast enough in this region. Wow, they're not going to, there's only, like, wow, they can't compete internationally. Where it's, like, a lot of these teams are just, like, can we even make playoffs?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it seems like I hope we don't flop midway through the season. Dignitas is like, we're falling again. No. And CSM's like, so it's in Boston this year?
yeah.
What time's our flight? It's like, dude, week 1 hasn't started yet. Yeah, that's great, dude. When are the finals? We'll be there.
I love it. Remember when TL 4th was a bad thing? Yeah, Tony, I remember.
Even then, I was like, how is this bad? We're still better than...
Yeah, I remember people got offended by that. I'm just like, I don't care. The only problem with that was that they didn't make it to Worlds. Because of...
Yeah, that's a fair criticism.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, that didn't make sense, like, half the time they weren't 4th, and you had to, like, bend the narrative in some fucked up way. Where
Yeah,
it's
well, they got 1st in the normal season, but they got 4th in the World Championship
in
qualifier.
We got 1st in the regular season, 3rd in playoffs, but then the very end of the year, if you ignore everything else, we got 4th in the
Yeah, so, like, they had to, like... I remember, like, I think Dom got so mad. Because, like, we weren't even 4th. I'm like, dude, come on. That's just how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, even like season 3, they got 4th in the regular season, and then they lost in playoffs, and they went into the relegation match, and it's like TL 4th, and it's like, or it's Curse at that point 4th, and it's like, dude, they're
so
6th,
bad.
yeah. 6th or 7th or something.
Okay, anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. This has been Greatest League Talk Show. We're here every week. If you want to see the VODs, you came in late, or you just want to see us again.
Do you want to announce what we're doing next week?
Oh, are we committed with doing that?
I am 100% doing that. You can get in on it or not, dude. I think it's better if we all do it.
Wait, every player?
We don't necessarily need to do all of them at once, but we should do a big handful at some point next week.
Oh, I had thoughts about this.
I know you had thoughts about this. What were your thoughts, speaking very vaguely, very quickly,
Disagree.
that we should do this?
Yeah.
Why?
I think it should be its own episode.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So
Rift Rivals
because
ends
Rift
Saturday.
Okay,
So
well
Sunday
then,
is 100%
I have some
open.
logistic stuff that we should talk through.
Okay, but are you okay
Yeah,
announcing it?
If it's that way,
Are
then
you
it's
down
fine.
to take Sunday as a full episode for this?
Oh, is it just doing this?
Just doing this.
I'm
Because
down.
Rift Rivals ends Saturday.
I'm down. Okay.
Okay, so I tweeted this out a little bit last night. If anyone is familiar with Madden or 2K or any of those kind of video game sports series, what they have every year is they take a list of all the players playing in the league and they rate them on their overall rating. So you add up, all the different parts of the game
We
that they
should
play.
make those like FIFA player cards.
Oh.
Yeah, that's so much work. But
This is not that much work. It's like
we'll get
leaning, team fighting.
yeah, but then we have to rate them on all those.
shot calling.
That's
Highs is
we have
5
to get to,
stars.
like-
Everything
we have
else
to
is
get to,
1
like,
star.
We have to get to like 50 people. Settle down. Let me get to the
Yeah,
concept
you're
first.
hyping this too much, dude.
You're confusing everyone. They're Twitch chat. They're simple-minded. What we're gonna do on Sunday's episode.
Dude, they're winning on the stock market. How could they be that dumb?
Oh my.
Right?
Okay, Mark, take it away.
Anyway, so on Sunday's episode, we will do a rating of every player in the NALCS,
Every player.
every starter, plus a couple subs who get a lot of playing time.
Holy shit, that's so many.
That's why I'm not going through. We're just doing overall rating. I'm not gonna rate everyone's fucking team.
No, I just
fighting
think
and
that like
boarding
you guys
and-
should do this beforehand, announce it at the thing, but have like things made already.
We can do it that. We'll fucking talk about that later.
Yeah.
Either way, we're gonna go through all the players
Every player.
on Sunday.
I'm gonna already let you know, guys. Bjork for me up here. Are we gonna rate the coaches?
No coaching rating.
Yeah, get fucked, Tony.
You wouldn't want to see your rating anyways, bro.
Oh, Jesus! All right.
But yeah, tune in for Sunday. I think we'll be doing one on Saturday to recap all of Rift Rivals. We'll have to talk about how we want to do that one as well.
Yes. So follow us on Twitter, Greatest League T, for updates on that, and on YouTube, Greatest League TS is where you can find VODs for the channel. Should be up the day after.
And for Sundays, yeah, we're not doing some bitch-ass rating by number, or letter, excuse me, with ABC. You go 0 to 100. And for the most part, no one gets below like a 60. But, whatever.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I don't think I'm gonna have a single 20 player.
I don't think I'm going to have anyone below 60, honestly. 60 is like, you should get
You
benched.
probably should not be out
You
playing at a
should-
professional level.
Yeah, you should be in that NACS.
I think in those games, like when you're on the come up, you're doing like the story mode or whatever. You start out at like 30, 40.
Generally,
and
what
you
it
go
is
up to,
is like 90s are like
the top
superstars.
Of the top. Yeah, like Faker.
80s are like
Solid
solid
players, yeah.
starters, deserve to be in the LCS, are really good.
Yeah.
70s in those games are usually sub players, but we don't have subs in the LCS really, so that's more like
Your weaker players.
your weaker players who like kind of deserve to be in the LCS, maybe don't if they're on the lower end of 70, and 60 is like this dude needs to get replaced soon.
Yeah.
And that's I think how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, kind of like Scarra and Delta.
Yeah, me on Delta Fox, I'm a 7.
We will not be doing it on a world scale. This is an NA scale. Faker's a fucking 99 and everyone else is like a 10 if we're doing on the Korea scale.
Yeah.
So like we're going to skip that so we actually look reasonable and just do it on an NA scale.
7.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh god.
thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week for special episodes of our show.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Anyways, until next time guys, thank you for watching Greatest League Talkshow.
Hopefully there'll be time codes this time for anyone who's watching on YouTube.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wrong.
Ah!
He's a baby.
Someone peed in my Cheerios. Ah!
We should just randomly have Faker put in. He'll go above the 100. He'll be
Well,
like,
if we're doing it by NA scale,
yeah, he'll